One, I can see why kids would like this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Two, kids are idiots.
They were three brothers learning the ways of the ninja, but what started as a game suddenly turned real. Those kids.
We should run. We should hide. We should kick their butt.
Now, three heroic kids are taking on one ruthless criminal.
Yes!
And they're determined to have the last laugh.
Enjoy the ride.
Three Ninjas, rated PG, parental guidance suggested.
This movie, 1992, PG, an hour 24 minutes, 5.3 on IMDb, 32% on Rotten Tomatoes. I was wondering how I should approach this episode. And I honestly, at first, was like, I'm going to play this off as long as I can that I love this movie and see a reaction. I can't even do that for more than 5 seconds.
We haven't even started.
Without just seeing, like, this is objectively a train wreck of a movie.
Incredible. Side note, we watched this for free on YouTube because we could not find any other source for
and
this
it did
movie.
seem to be completely fine. I mean, it's not like HD, but it's the entire movie.
It's like you popped in a VHS into the internet and it played it for you.
Right. It was very authentic, I would say, in that regard.
So what is your history with this movie? Did you watch this at all back in 92?
I couldn't remember one way or the other.
Yeah.
I knew of it because there were so many movies that came after it.
Sure.
And when I brought it up to Kristen, she was like, oh yeah, I remember it.
Rocky.
I will say the only scene that I remembered was with Tanaka and his blue tank top.
Sure.
And all the kids are going at him. When I saw that scene, I knew I had seen that before.
Okay.
Everything else was like seeing it for the first time. So the plot, I was pretty aware of, like, okay, these kids are going to beat up adults. Other than that, I really didn't remember much of anything at all.
Fine.
You?
So as a student and a child of a martial arts instructor and someone who was deep in the karate world for many years, this was like pretty much bread and butter. This is like, for any kid who was in a karate or interested in karate class, you were watching this movie regardless. I wasn't like obsessed with this movie, but definitely watched it. Thought I was Tum Tum. Like it was like I at some point I looked at myself as like I'm one of those brothers.
Like, this is happening. Yeah. I'm at some point I'm gonna have to be called into action.
all this is it hasn't been for nothing. It's right there. There's my path. It's right there. It's not.
It's happening, Mom and Dad.
Because up until then, it was Jean-Claude Van Damme, Chuck Norris. Like, oh, they're older guys.
Right.
Like, those are kids. They're my age.
Oh yeah.
And they're on the TV, Mom.
I'm looking in the mirror right now. This is happening.
So it was right there for the taking, but it wasn't an obsession. It was just it played perfectly to any kid who was like, in karate.
Well, no one
asked
90s. To be a hero.
That's true.
It's just, it happens. And
as
so
was
ready.
told in this movie. Yeah. Something I did find surprising. So at first, when I dove into details, the first thing I saw for budget was $26.5 million. And then I said, excuse me.
Oh. All those flower pots, probably.
What I came to find was, I think that was the budget for all of the Three Ninjas movies. Because
really?
then as I dove in a little bit further, I found 6.5 million, and I said, that sounds about right.
That seems more
This isn't
accurate.
Labyrinth production. This is
right.
This is kids kicking adults in the balls for an hour and a half.
Lots of jumping around. There's not like things being destroyed really, or like huge set pieces or explosions. It's just like punches to the balls.
Yeah, ball punch.
I don't know how much that costs, but
surely at least $1 million of that. So for a movie that cost $6.5 million, what is your estimate on how much it grossed?
Probably like 5 times that.
I mean, pretty much almost on the nose, 29 million.
Yeah.
The series itself, all of the Three Ninjas. I mean, this was the heavy
first.
This is the heavy hitter because all of them grossed 41 million total. So this was doing the heavy lifting.
I know it spawned 3 more movies.
Yeah.
The 3 Ninjas Knuckle Up, 3 Ninjas Kick Back, and then 3 Ninjas High Noon at Mega Mountain, where they rescue Hulk Hogan. That one had none of the original boys. It only had the grandpa. But you get the point.
He hung strong. He hung strong through the series. He really was the thing that tied the whole thing together, it seems.
Yeah. What else
him.
do you have? I mean, the kids, I guess, that's kind of surprising me. I would think you could replace the grandpa and keep the kids. But again, this is like a typical kids age out. They get older. Because what are the ages of the kids in this movie? Like 8, 11, and 12?
Yeah.
So not great when you're looking at it like 3-4 years later. They're going through puberty.
Sure.
They're not as cute.
But we'll dive into some fun facts on
good. I looked up no facts because I was so immersed in the movie. I don't know that I could even
I was engulfed. I couldn't even think outside of it.
Yes.
So the director of this movie, I believe his name is John Turteltaub.
Yeah.
Cool Runnings.
Yep.
While You Were Sleeping. Phenomenon. He also produced National Treasure.
Sure did.
He's no slouch.
No. This is kind of like a big name.
Mm-hmm. Sad news.
No.
I could not find Siskel or Ebert's thoughts on this movie. It was a shame. I figured there's 2 of them. One of them's got to have an opinion.
Yes, nothing.
I think the closest thing to it was a sequel, but nothing on the original.
Disappointing.
The OG. I found a Washington Post review. Washington Post said, "It takes a young mind to believe these squirts can defeat an entire squad of crack ninjas," which they do. "It takes virtual myopia not to see that doddering Wong's somersaults and flying kicks are being performed by a double with padded stomach." Okay.
Yeah.
Fair. I don't think they're doing a great job hiding it. When it's like an 80-year-old man, all of a sudden he's flying through the air.
And doing backflips and jumping out of trees and okay.
Yeah. After the kids defeat his men, Kingsley inexplicably sends 3 surfer lingo dudes to capture them. The dastardly Bill and Tedders, are doomed to suffer everything from jelly beans on the floor to ultra laxative Mickey fins. Don't you just hate us, pipes Tum Tum, after the dudes have suffered yet another booby trap indignity? Yes, little Tum Tum. Yes. I tell you what, if there's something that this podcast has shown me is nothing brings me more joy than listening to adults just trash kids movies. And that's essentially what we're doing with this. But like, listen to like people who are paid to review movies be like, this is a piece of shit.
Having said that, there are kids movies that are at least believable or I can get on board with and just be along for the ride of entertainment for the sake of entertainment. This movie I watched and I had 2 initial thoughts. One, I can see why kids would like this movie. 2, kids are idiots. My boys, after seeing this movie...
How many times did you get kicked in the nuts after watching this movie with them?
I mean, I get kicked in the nuts on a daily basis to begin with.
Track.
But they were going, "Aya!" and run around the house. And for you listeners out there, all 4 of you, they're 6 and 4.
Yeah.
This is their wheelhouse.
Yeah.
You get to say "Aya." You get to kick in the air, and Cam was going, "Tum Tum, come on!"
Yeah.
And then he even said to me, and I think I told you, where he's like, "So Tum Tum will eat pretty much anything except for dog poo and dog pee." And I'm glad he made the distinction. He added the dog pee in because you can't eat that.
No, certainly
You'll
not.
get sick.
No.
Also, difficult to eat.
Right.
No matter the utensil. It's just not going to happen.
Aside,
So he took that away, like how perceptive he was with this movie. But also he was just like, this is it. This is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
And looking at him and seeing how infatuated he was with it, and me as an adult being like, this is a dumpster fire of a movie. That
Made you angry.
Nothing makes sense about this. This is the most nonsensical plot and execution maybe in any movie I've ever seen.
Fair.
Ever.
Fair. Fine and fair. This falls into that category of movies where they ask the kid, what do you want to happen in your life movie? It's like Rookie of the Year. Like, what would you want to happen? This? Okay, make the movie.
If they told me a 12-year-old was a screenwriter, I would be like, yeah.
Checks out. And actually, fair.
Give someone X-Lax for no reason? Check.
Yep.
Can kick a bunch of people in the nuts. Kids beating up adults.
Excellent basketball scene.
Basketball game. And I listed a
flying
bunch
through
of
the air.
90s stuff too, where I'm like, okay, this is 90s. So at one point they say, you're pretty good. Not. There's a Dare water bottle sitting on a
I
desk.
missed that.
Oh,
They must
I'm
have paid to get that in there.
Probably. There's a slow motion. No. And then the soundtrack
Yeah,
is just screams 90s.
straight out.
It's oppressive. There's a lot going on.
All right, let's take it from the top.
Starts off a typical summer for any kid, just like you and me, going off to learn how to beat our grandpa's ass all summer long. Just
Why
fight
not
with
every summer? And the narration too. I don't know many other kids movies where they start off with a narration.
Yeah, that's true. That
And
did
the
stand out.
boys are ribbing on each other too, saying like, shut up.
Yeah.
It does kind of draw you in,
Mhm.
I'll admit. It doesn't seem to be for any reason.
Right.
But yeah, if they visit their grandpa every summer,
Mm-hmm.
no reason explained.
No.
Just we go with our grandpa and learn karate.
Mm-hmm. All summer long.
Oh,
See you later.
alrighty.
Yep.
Well,
Nope.
then I guess let's see what happens.
We're beating his ass all summer long because at some point this is going to pay off. We've already noted from the Washington Post that the stunt doubles aren't necessarily checking out right from the jump. Rocky's flipping around, and an adult is certainly in his place as the stunt double.
I would, yes.
They're not at a certain point. I was like, why even try at this point? Just make it like someone who's like 50 pounds heavier, like 3 feet taller, like just
Different everything.
You're not
Different outfit.
you're trying to get so close that I can see it. You might as well just go all the way the other end. Yeah. One of the things that did pop up into my memory as soon as I saw it in this movie was that the masks that they put on were badass.
Yes.
As a kid, I was like, okay, I'm in karate.
Right.
I want that mask to go kick some adult in the balls several times.
So I get this, right?
Yeah.
Like this, when I get a certain belt level, I'm going to get a mask.
I have a sweet mask that I can go around and fight people with that on. Fine. Perfect.
And did it happen?
It never happened, Jim. So I was
I'm sorry.
kind of hoping we'd pass on over
I'm
that.
sorry.
So Tum Tum, right off the bat, we understand he enjoys food. Every Twizzler he eats gets longer than the last one to the extent where it's almost comical. It's like down to his belly button. And at a certain point, as a fan of Twizzlers, I wanted to ask you, Twizzlers or Red Vines? If it came down to it, what is your preference? Twizzlers. Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
strawberry.
I didn't want to have to end this whole series off
I'm
of
not
that,
a huge
Twizzler.
pull and peel guy.
Yeah.
I would rather have the regular Twizzlers. I mean, that's not my go-to snack,
No.
but if I had to choose.
Fair, and I'm
If we're
happy
being
that was your
honest.
response. Yes, thank you. Red Vines are bullshit for anyone listening. And we get the scene with the FBI sting, which for a while no one is talking, and
No.
to the point where I said, "Is anyone going to talk?" In
I
this whole
don't. Any need? I don't know.
It didn't need it. It got to the point where at first I was like, "No one's talking," and I was like, "Well, I guess no one is going to talk." And then I had that thought, "Well, I guess no one needs to talk." And then eventually there was talking. But it concerned me because they brought in the 90s problematic Middle Eastern bad guy. And I was like, oh, no, I don't know that I want him to talk.
No,
so then I was like,
I
okay, no
know.
one's going to talk. So this is
Right.
fine.
Okay, it's all right.
But it turned out to be undercover FBI guy pretending to be Middle Eastern.
Shocking. I thought this guy was legit.
I thought it was tough when we first saw him because I was like, okay, right from the jump, I was like, I'm going to etch out my problematic part of the movie. Like it's right here. But I didn't know what way they were going. Were they going, he's just not going to say anything? Were they going, this guy's going to actually pretend to be Middle Eastern, like not as an FBI sting, like he is just, we're putting like a mustache on a white guy and we're just going to let it rip. So needless to say, from the beginning of this movie, surprises. Surprises.
Still, though, it's a weapons deal.
Yeah.
So a little stereotypical.
A little.
My issue, other than the blatant racism, is there's not a single gunshot fired by any of the FBI agents. They all have guns. A bunch of ninjas come down with swords.
Yeah.
And they're just frozen until the helicopter comes and they start shooting. And then the FBI agents are like, oh shit, yeah, we have guns. We should probably fire back.
Yep.
It took that long to realize you have guns?
Well, this movie gave us the crossover we never know we needed. Ninjas versus the FBI. Fine. I'll just give me that as a side, as like its own little short. I'll just watch ninjas fight FBI agents. Fine.
Is that equal pairing?
Well, if the FBI agents for half of it don't realize they have guns that work, then maybe.
Okay, I'll give you that. But if I'm standing across the room and someone has a sword, and it's like the Indiana Jones scene where the guy has the sword flipping through the air and Indiana just shoots him.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah. You have the gun.
You just shoot him.
Have gun, we'll use it.
Yeah, go do that.
So the sting, it goes awry. But I like when the bad guy he takes the money bag, goes to check. Well, I got to check if there's real money.
Yep.
Checks the first stack of money, realizes it's fake.
It's not money.
Decides, well, I got to check at least 2 to 3 more.
I better check some more.
Listen, man, you got the one. Odds are you can.
He's
trust
optimistic. Maybe it's just a fluke.
Listen, there was their mistake when the kids got in there with Monopoly money. Let me just hold on.
These are papers, but the others, these are going to be real.
And then he was really double crossed after that third stack of money. Yeah,
that's unfortunate.
I said the bad guy was giving me major Steven Seagal vibes.
For sure.
I was kind of thinking
slick back hair.
This reminded me of Free Willy with the bad guy. Like, you didn't get Jack Nicholson, so let's get this guy to act like him. It felt kind of like that, or at least like, hey, actor, watch every Steven Seagal movie and then just be that.
Mm-hmm.
Except I couldn't put my finger on his accent. It was kind of just his own thing.
Yeah.
Like, it never really landed in anything.
It's like a bad guy accent. Like, he's not from a location. No. He's just a vibe. And so that's what comes out.
Bad guy. Yeah, that's fair. And that's why it didn't need to be grounded in any location. It's just, what do you think a bad guy sounds like?
He exists.
Yeah. So once they get out of that, the guy's partner, the cop, as he's talking to him, he's having a real tough time getting his gun back in his holster. I don't know if you noticed that. Like, he took it 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and then he finally got it. So that was something that I just enjoyed. It's one of those things where if you're not fully paying attention, you just blow right past it. But when you're doing this, when you're microanalyzing something, those are the little notes that really stand out.
I mean, that's a brief synopsis of the entire movie. Yeah. Everything is a struggle. Like, do you even have a basic plot of this movie? No. I know you read one.
Plots done poorly.
Mine is basically 3 brothers with minimal knowledge of karate somehow beat up multiple criminals. Don't think about it too hard. This movie makes no sense.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think, is there a quote that I could epitomize this movie with? And I thought of one.
Oh.
We'll see if you recognize it. Mr. Madison, what you have just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I've ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you, in this case, no stars. And may God have mercy on your soul.
That's fair.
That is this movie. Yeah. It makes no sense. Mm-hmm. Nothing about it is sensical in any way. It's just things are happening.
Yeah.
And you go, well, all right, next scene, moving on.
Yep. Again, it was one of those ideas of like, kids are getting into karate now, right? Let's just fire it up. Get a few of them. Let them fight bad guys for an hour and a half. It'll sell itself.
I had to stop writing down the things that didn't make sense there. And I'm sure we'll get to it. There are just so many scenes where I'm like, what? That's what we agreed upon? Mm. Who decided this? Who is directing this movie? What does the screenwriting look like? I want to see the script.
The script is one page. It's just kicks in the nuts.
Is this ad-libbed? Or like, is this written down? Like, okay, guys, brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Let's do this. It's nonsense.
Right. Once they are with Grandpa at the house, they're all doing non-ninja karate things. I was very stressed out, but when they're cooking the food and Colt is cutting those carrots very, very haphazardly to the point where I'm like, all right, I guess you're just going to lose fingers at this scene.
His knife skills aren't ideal.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, again, his history is in karate.
Sure.
And not knife work. But it was stressing me out. And the bad guy having...
Snyder.
Thank you. Him having the punching bag in his office, I loved. Because he used it. He didn't let that thing go unnoticed.
Is that even an office? It's like I mean, I guess there was a desk, right? Yeah. And like a shelf of books or something. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
And his partner, another wacky accent.
Who is that guy? What is this? His leg? I don't know.
They just said, you act like Steven Seagal. You kind of act like Jerry Lee Lewis, sort of. I don't know.
Be like his lackey / is he an assistant? What is his?
Yeah.
What's his title?
Just be a dork that has to answer to him. Yeah.
I hope he's getting paid well. I want to know, does he have business cards? What is this guy's role?
Who's to say? Something that also stood out to me as someone who was in karate for many years. So when they're training with Grandpa, they're all wearing their gis. their suits, their outfits.
Yeah.
Even when it's like, okay, we're done training, we're still wearing the gis.
Oh, all day.
Those things are not comfortable to wear all the time. They are stiff.
I've never worn one, so
let me tell you.
Okay.
It's a show outfit. It's an ensemble to wear to the tournament, to the event. But after that, it's like you're wearing cardboard. It's stiff. Not, there's where my believability starts to drop off. You're not wearing
They're
gis all
probably
the time.
chafing.
Definitely. And you're outside sweating those things. Those things are gonna
Right.
stick. It's not doesn't check out for me.
This is an aspect that I never considered. So I'm glad that I'm bringing your expertise in. I had no idea that you were so well versed in karate.
Well, listen, I have a black belt with 3 stripes on it that I can show to you at some point to impress you.
Do you?
Not here. But I have it somewhere.
Like you purchased the black belt, or it's a karate?
H&M. Yeah, 3. It was on sale.
How dare you? It's broken in.
Yes, but this movie, I just wrote down nut shots and butt shots aplenty. No lack of them. If there isn't a nut shot in a scene, someone's getting kicked in their ass. Like the ninjas they're light work for these guys. These are full-grown adults getting the floor. They're getting wiped with the kids.
And they're fighting with like spoons and tongs and like silverware.
Yeah.
And these guys have swords and guns. Really? You're like knocking someone out with a flower pot, or you're sliding under a table and you're kicking them in the back of the calves.
Yep.
And they're falling over and just like knocked unconscious.
Yeah. I said if anyone should get awards from these movies, it's not Tum Tum, Rocky, and Colt. It's the damn ninjas for selling the shit out of those fights.
I'm not afraid of a 9-year-old. I can beat up 9-year-olds all day.
Every day.
And I'm weak. I have no upper body strength to speak of. But if I have 3 9-year-olds coming at me,
easy.
I'm kind of confident that I can beat them up.
Just clang all their heads together.
I've never tried it,
yeah.
but you know what? If anyone wants to challenge me,
bring your 9-year-olds over to the big tree after school.
Let's meet out by the flagpole. Let's do this.
Put your gis on. All. Let's do this.
I don't care what you wear. Wear whatever you want.
So you were talking about how there's the dare bottle, there's the music. One of the things that stood out to me as like very 90s or very much our childhood is when all the kids are in the car singing the song and say, I shot my poor teacher with a 44 set. I was like, holy shit. How many songs were like definitely inappropriate that would not fly today, that were definitely sung?
That was
as a teacher, what did you think about that?
Is it racist / problematic? Yes. I shot my poor teacher with a 44 stud. Like, oh, we're just casually singing this in a convertible? That seems to check out.
It's a hoot. And Grandpa, not a fan of Dad. There's some tension there. It starts from
Dad doesn't like him either.
That's what I'm saying. It goes both ways.
I don't know
what the history is there. There's
something happened.
There's a storyline there that I'm more interested. Like the marriage. The Grandpa didn't approve.
There's a prequel.
Yes.
How did this come to be?
Yeah. With 3 other movies, I didn't need 3 movies after this. I needed a movie before this.
Agreed. And why does Mom have no ninja skills?
None.
If Dad is so good at that, he just teaches her sons. Is that sexist? I don't know.
Possibly. 3 ninjas.
I feel like she deserves to know how to do some of this.
That's true. That is very true.
Fend for herself.
A take that I did not consider. Love the bad guy surfer dudes. Definitely just like grab Bill and Ted style guys.
What the lead goon, Fester is his name.
Horrible name. That is not a Fester.
Not great. I mean, did they just take that from Addams Family?
Yes, they absolutely did.
Okay. And all they say is like dude and
There's the one guy that just says dude. That's his only line.
Why are they hired to capture anyone?
Or to do anything for anyone.
They're sleeping in vans.
Yeah.
They seem like stoners. I mean, seem like. Spoiler alert, they're stoners.
Fester, Marcus, and Hammer.
Yeah.
As it were.
Sweet names. I mean,
Hammer's good.
They were kind of funny.
Yeah.
I will say one of my favorite scenes is when they're robbing the 7-Eleven. They admire a surfboard. You think they're looking at a woman. They're not. They're looking at a surfboard.
That was good.
Then they ditch, or the pager goes off in the middle of it.
Yep.
And that's a very 90s thing,
I just
too.
wrote in all caps, pager.
Pager. So, yeah, that was kind of funny. But other than that, like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. And did you find the fun fact about Hammer for Trivia Facts and Mythology?
That he only says dude?
No, that was maybe Marcus. Hammer's the one who has the black hair. He was also a crew member. He worked on the movie and also was an actor in the movie.
Come on.
Absolutely. So I said, is that double salary?
He's holding like a boom mic while he's... Oh, my goodness.
So he was...
Good for him.
He was no slouch, man.
Okay.
He was doing it on screen and off screen. I this is where I started to write down random lines like, or we'll have to kill you, bummer. And God, I love being a bad guy. All these like perfectly over the top.
Good tropes.
Yeah. Although my first question does come to mind, the boys' room that they have.
Yes.
All three of the boys.
Yes.
Does anything stand out as like, any questions you have for it? Anything that stands out as
Several.
weird?
The can on the string.
Yep.
Should not.
No way that
function.
Works. No, not
There's
a chance.
no chance that works.
Yeah.
The light bulb that they have to warn that someone's coming up the stairs.
Ah.
How the hell does that work? Like when someone walks by it, it goes off. Mom and dad don't notice there's a blinking red light bulb in your room.
Mm-hmm.
None of this checks out.
No.
Unless they just literally never step foot in your room.
No.
And then how smart are they to set up this sort of like security system where they know if someone's coming toward them?
They're martial artists. They're smarties. I see, and this is
I don't buy that for a second.
This is the yin and yang of this podcast, because the thing that I noticed was the trampoline that made no sense to me. It is like 80% spring with like 10% little jump off area. I was like, what is this trampoline?
Is it by the bunk beds?
Yeah, it's like they use that to like jump onto it, but it's literally as big as like the surface of like your 2 feet together. And then the rest of it is like spring.
Well, as we have seen, they're very precise.
Yes.
Because
so
Grandpa
says
a half inch makes a big difference.
That's true.
You got to set off these lights.
Yep.
So maybe that's just part of their training.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
The boys taunt Rocky by saying Rocky loves Emily. Another band name that came from a movie. Rocky Loves Emily is a band that came like Ludo. Just a little fun fact. Another entry into our problematic section. My brothers are retarded.
Yeah.
Oh, the R. The
Wrote that down too.
Word. Yeah.
That probably wouldn't happen today.
No. Certainly a 90s thing that is just like, ooh, yeah, bring that.
Yeah, Rocky Loves Emily. Sorry, my brothers are retarded.
Oof. It's the first movie we've done for the 90s that I think has said it in it. So
yeah.
I don't know what we're in store for future.
No, this was
films.
the first and only, and maybe most egregious saying that is just not used today, where you're just like, oof, that hasn't aged well.
Yep, exactly. One of my questions I had is, so Rocky and Emily, they're all riding bikes. Emily gets her bike stolen.
Yep.
Her reaction to that is to be mad at Rocky.
Yeah, that is mine as well.
Okay, so I was like, maybe I missed something. Because her reaction is like, oh, you were showing off, and that happened. I was like, did I?
Right.
Was he?
You were biking and allowed me to get my bike stolen by a whole gang of goons?
That's what I was like.
How
I missed
dare
something.
you?
I must have missed something because she's very upset at him, and I don't know why. Okay, good. So we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have other problems, though, with that entire interaction.
Keep it going.
So she's upset at Rocky. Got it. He decides, I'm going to win your bike back. Don't worry. Mm-hmm. Let's challenge him to a basketball game.
Dude can ball.
So you are an expert in karate.
Whereas you,
the basketball on the B team, freshman B team basketball. Also rode the bench sophomore year.
Not bragging.
My credentials, I know what I'm talking about. They challenge them to a pickup game, and they're like, all right, we're going to spot you 9 points.
Huge.
For no reason.
Confidence.
And they do not put on the table, hey, how about if we win, we get her bike back?
No.
They just sacrifice their bikes.
Yeah.
For some reason. It doesn't seem like they get anything if they win, unless I miss that completely. And then they're dunking? They're just actively above the rim.
Well, just Colt, right? Or were they all dunking?
Both Colt and Rocky are flying high. Mm-hmm. And then they lose on just a fluke because the guys start getting rough at the end. Yeah, maybe don't spot them 9 points and it wouldn't be such a big
would have
deal.
Been fine, evidently.
Or none. I don't know why you're trying to sweeten the pot.
He's a show. Well, and Emily said to Rocky, "You were showing off. Maybe this plays into it." He's definitely he likes the spotlight.
Beat them 10-0.
Yeah, that's fair.
You don't
more
have to
impressive
spot
than
them.
10-9. Yeah, agreed.
That made me so angry. I'm like, this is just not even realistic. You want to beat them? Beat them.
Yeah. Although I did say the bad kids, the bad guy kids, it's cool. Very cool look. All of them.
They did not change outfits, though. Even at the end of the movie, they have the same wardrobe. Like, wardrobe budget was not
if it works,
much.
You know what they say? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I suppose.
They looked in the mirror and they said, look, it looked good yesterday.
It looks sweet.
Why am I going to mess with it? I don't do anything. I'm not out there.
Sweat.
I'm not out there doing karate.
We're only going to score 1 point, so I'm good.
I can wear this again. The whole beginning they're wearing gis and also casually wearing gis doesn't check out. What does check out the ethos of their training is that they're really only supposed to use it in self-defense, not go out and just kick people's asses. Although they do go out and kick a bunch of adults' asses.
This is true.
That is the big thing with martial arts is like, yes, you know all this stuff, but you're not supposed to use it to just go beat ass. You're supposed to use it to just defend yourself.
One thing I said that went over my head if I watched it as a kid, I don't remember much of it, but 19 minutes into the movie, I looked at the time. Grandpa teaches them a technique that they can only use to save their lives. And I said, I wonder if they use this technique later. But they don't. So he shows them this one technique he says, only uses if you need to save your life. At no point they didn't feel like they needed to save their lives. They're just in control all movie.
9-point lead.
Wow.
Take it away.
Wow. Okay.
Again, they're nothing if not confident, these kids. They never need to break out those kind of moves. Something from the basketball scene that I forgot to mention, Rocky and Colt eat it hard on the pavement.
Sure do.
And not like it's part of me wondered, like, they look like the kids actually, they just threw the kids.
Yeah, they're getting like hip checked to the ground.
It wasn't like, we'll make them look like they fell on the pavement. It looked like they just said, you're going to actually wipe out on the
pick them up, just like just pile drive them out of the pavement.
Yeah. But some excellent slow-mo sports shots, some dunking, a real, I said maybe this movie should be about basketball and not karate because these kids can ball. They're going with these skills.
So bad. Oh, God. It was painful to watch.
Then we get, the kids are going to get babysat, and this is when we get all the bad guys come in to basically take over the house.
Yep.
But before that, we get the classic stereotype of a babysitter and rollers. She's a nightmare.
The old lady.
Yep. Horrifying.
I'm sure she'll be fine. She'll be a great babysitter.
One of them finds the folder in the dad's office and they bring it back and they're kind of just yanking back at this folder back.
Because he says, who's the bad guy anyway? And the mom says, there's a picture of him on top of that file. Oh, yeah? Your secret FBI files? You're aware of it? Desk, and you're fine just telling your son, like, if you want to take a crack at it.
We're going out. The folder's on your
See
dad's
what's in
desk.
there. I don't know. Snoop around. Yeah, that's an issue.
I said the surfer guys are much smarter than the bad guys give them credit for. There's a couple of times where they're kind of being eloquent and the mean guy is like, seems like he doesn't just know dude and butt and stuff. Like he's actually has a couple parts where he's speaking at length in sentences that I can understand.
Okay. I mean, yeah, maybe. Also, they pour X-Lax into a Coke cup and then the guys are fighting over it to drink. Like,
so you're saying it's a wash there?
Yeah, it makes no sense at all. Like, why? Why do they have X-Lax readily available? Why do they pour it in? And why are these guys fighting over guzzling this down? Like, you're thirsty? You need some cola? Okay.
Coca-Cola.
Okay.
Yeah. But when they came in the house, just came in guns drawn, ready to go in the house.
Don't use it.
Not screwing around.
But they don't use it.
Yeah. And they hit the babysitter with a deep dish to the face. I said, that's
aggressive. Lots of pepperoni on her later, which she never clears off.
No.
The boys get her from the closet and she's still just like, oh, is this pepperoni?
Mm-hmm. And the line they say is, first we feast, then we felony. And I said, come on, guys. You got a felony and then feast. You can't, the cart before the horse here.
You don't celebrate before you've achieved. Yeah. No. That's a really good point.
That's of any sayings I've known growing up, it's first you felony and then you feast.
Yeah, that's true.
One of the notes I had was, wait, their reasoning is to risk their lives so they can stay in karate? Like,
the boys?
Yeah. The dad doesn't want them to be in karate. There's this whole push and pull between them actually just being in karate. But they're willing to, you know what? If we do this, if we beat the bad guys, then we can stay in karate.
Well, dad will see that this was worth it.
You're gonna go get your asses killed just so you can stay in a karate class? Like, listen.
To your point, their confidence through the roof. They're just like, all right, let's go beat ass. And dad will see, we should continue this training. Although I guess at that point you would see you don't really need any more training if you're able to beat up all these people.
Excellent point. You don't need to be in the class anymore if you can beat full-grown adult men regularly. I think you're fine. A+.
And Grandpa says, don't start a fight with anyone weaker than you, but also never start a fight unless you know you will win. So which is it? Mixed messaging.
You know fights I
don't
can
know
win
what the hell
with
you're
people weaker than me, 9-year-old kids. I'll beat all their asses.
But okay, don't start a fight if you know you're going to win, but also don't start a fight unless you know you can win. What? I have
also,
no clue what you're telling me.
Don't ever start any fights. It is the way. I thought this was a wholesome threat when all of the bad guys are in the room and one of them says, "Last one out closes the door." I was like, that's just a few guys just having fun, just having some good old wholesome fun.
They're enjoying themselves.
They have guns. They're willing to kill kids, but last one out the room
doesn't mean you can't have fun, Nick.
It's just
you got a job to do, but you can still enjoy yourself.
That's true. If you never work a day in your life, right?
Right.
You've got the room at the end of the hall that mom is redoing. I said, thank you for that exposition. Would have never gathered that by the room that is completely inoperable. Paint,
everything's white.
Horses, construction horses, paint, scaffolding. Like, yep.
And it's that Colt that like spray paints himself completely white. And so so that's their plan. Their strategy is just lock one of the brothers up in the room and let him go nuts.
Yeah.
Sweet plan, guys.
What happens if they all see him and shoot him with the guns they have? Okay, now it's one of you down.
No, not an issue.
9-point lead,
he'll
man.
take care of it.
9-point lead. I will say, I'm not sure if their martial arts prowess will outweigh the damage done to the house. Because
lots of issues.
While they can tell Dad, look, we kicked these 3 grown men's asses, I think Dad's going to be like, look what the hell you did to my house.
Right.
Like, listen, as a father who does not enjoy a mess, my head would go there. That's where my thought process
as it should. I get
Marbles
they came
everywhere.
in with guns trying to kidnap you, but mind the paintings.
Clean up this mess now.
You got pepper bombs all over the kitchen. What the hell,
X-Lax
boys?
and Coke cans.
And why do they have so many like containers of black pepper and whatever? I don't even know what else was in those coffee filter bomb things. But
so they begin to beat Fester, Hammer, Marcus. They're wiping the floor with them. Rocky puts Fester in a situation where he is hanging by his throat from the top of the stairs to the point where he will kill him. He will be dead. This is like a blank check bad guy in the pool situation.
Breathe very well.
How long is he like that? No one's coming to his aid very quickly.
It's comical though. It's like, oh, he can't breathe.
That is one of the ones where it's like, some of these movies, there's always like, kick to the nuts, kick to the butts. Right. Then all of a sudden there's one that goes too far and you're like, oh no, that guy's dead. The guys with the guns, that was a little serious. No, you actually killed one of those guys.
Yeah, he would be dead at that point.
Yeah.
And it was my favorite goon, so really bothered by that. Yeah.
The mom and the dad are going back and forth. Mom says, they're having a little tiff. Sorry for supporting my father. That's my Asian side. Dad says, so why are you giving me such a hard time? That's my American side.
Yeah.
A little bit of fun.
Sure.
A little bit of fun. Mom and Dad are having a little fun. See, people are having
Heritage.
fun. Yeah.
Hilarious. Look at us. We're so different and yet we're similar too.
And we come together. I just wrote Fester's dead for sure. Absolutely. Fester's idea is let's get Emily to come to the house. And he puts on a goofy voice to get him over. But Emily can just leave her house anytime.
Yes.
Just put on your robe.
Again, you're using the bullshit can, which is not going to work.
No.
They're like, oh, come over. And she's just like, all right, well, here I come.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to check out.
I had a good, hearty, heartfelt laugh when that whole scene's done. Everyone's pulling up in cars and Grandpa shows up in the ninja outfit, just like walking down the street.
Just casually.
I laughed my ass off. Like, there's nothing about him that is threatening or helping the situation. He just looks like a deranged man in a ninja suit.
People just appear too. Yeah. Like, hey, I just happened to stumble upon the scene for no reason. Could I be useful?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. How nice of you to show up at the exact perfect moment. Yeah. And then that happens later too. I don't know how the cops find Snyder and his ninjas on this random ship in the middle of nowhere.
Training on the ship.
They're just all there ready to shoot. Good for you guys. Way to show up, guys. You know, it would have been great if you came here like 20 minutes ago. Also, perfect timing on shooting him exactly when he was going to shoot Grandpa.
Yeah.
But, better late than never.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
I will say the kids turn a pretty good scheme to get out of the jail cell.
Oh, yeah, Rocky.
Yeah.
I got a brilliant strategy.
Calls out of the cell to call back so that he could use that phone call to get the guy watching their cell to come in. I was like, listen.
And it works.
Hey,
you got a call. Oh, I do?
Yeah.
Oopsies.
But there isn't a single kick or punch thrown in this movie without a hi-ya. They got
the ayahs. Oh, I wrote that down. I'm like, I cannot handle another
a single
ayah.
more
Ayah. Too many.
And now it's in your life at all times with any kick or punch.
Cam was doing it down the hall. He thinks that's just like normal behavior.
That is.
Well, if you're gonna hit someone, you got to say ayah. You don't. Guess what? You do not.
He's already like, this is like 6 years of karate training. He's already learned it all in an hour and a half.
You're gonna get made fun of. You hit someone, you say ayah. They're not even gonna fall over. They're just gonna laugh at you.
I did another scene I did enjoy towards the end of this movie which is reminiscent of Heavyweights. Tum Tum goes to check in on the bad guy and gives him a sucker punch before he leaves. I think of Heavyweights where he goes back up to check on Lars and gives him the nut punch. Again,
it's fun. I think maybe my favorite scene is the opening scene. Where you have the boys sleeping, the two older ones grab whatever stick out of the air. The younger one doesn't move until his food is being attacked, and then he's protective of it. That's funny. Okay. There's no need for probably 98% of the movie, and yet it happens anyway.
This movie could have been 10 minutes long. It could have been a nut punch, kick in the butt.
Done. Because so much of it too, like, I'm just going to go through the questions I have. The biggest mistake Grandpa made was to be partners with Snyder. I don't know what their partnership was.
That's true.
He trained Snyder, clearly, but I don't know for what reason or what their partnership was. The boys come home from their summer with Grandpa. They're like, oh, these are our new names. And the dad's pissed off, which, oh, shocker, dad's a dick. Wow, didn't expect this in a 90s movie. Mom instantly calls the boys by their new names without a beat. The rest of the movie, you don't hear their actual names single time. The dad just says it right away at the beginning.
No issue.
That's it. Even if you look on the IMDb, it doesn't give their real names.
That's true.
It has their ninja names. All of the villain ninjas have plastic eyepieces as part of the uniforms that fog up quite aggressively. Seems like a design flaw. I don't know who is designing your costumes, but why do you have this plastic eyepiece? So like a sea goggle. That's not good. You're going to be sweating. That's not going to work.
That's true.
And then at the end, they're on a ship. They walk down these wooden stairs, and all of a sudden they're in like this basement/dojo. Were we on a ship? How did this happen?
Have
There's
you not
wooden
been on a ship
stairs on
before,
a ship.
Jim?
No,
Dojo ship.
Clearly I am not.
Dojo ship.
It seems problematic, though. And speaking of problematic,
I'm problematic.
My final thing, if you go to Victor Wong's IMDb, that's the grandpa. Did you see what it listed it all for his description?
No.
This is what it says on his IMDb. He's an eccentric-looking Chinese-American actor with a slightly drooping face, the result of a bout with Bell's palsy.
Oh.
That's how you describe him?
Oh, no.
A slightly drooping face? He's eccentric-looking.
Yeah.
Don't mind him.
Get him in your movie.
But it's because he has Bell's palsy, or he had it.
Yeah.
How
Not
about
great.
phenomenal actor in Three Ninjas movies?
And other, I think he's in Big Trouble in Little China as well. He's in other martial arts movies. Like, he has merit.
He's a prominent figure.
Yes.
How dare you define him by his Bell's palsy?
Exactly.
He is so much more than that.
Something else, another a random little fun fact. I recognized Dad's partner. I'm like, he looks familiar. And I go back. Have you seen the movie Ray, the Ray Charles movie?
Yeah.
He's Ray's manager.
Really?
Yeah. He's the one that like eventually he leaves him because I think Ray's saying like, you're not paying me out. And he's like, man, I was like I was your one friend. Yeah. So that was a little fun fact. A little fun fact for that.
Good for you.
So trivia facts and mythology.
Yeah, let's do it.
We talked about Hammer, who is doubling as a crew member and on-stage talent, on-screen talent.
Yep.
So Disney acquired the distribution rights to this film. It's not a Disney movie, but they distributed it. And when the studio got a hold of it, they said it was too violent. So the filmmakers responded by adding cartoon sound effects to lessen the violence.
Yes.
The American version of the film also cut numerous parts and scenes, most likely to secure the PG rating. So this movie doesn't play so silly without the whoop, evidently.
But I mean,
Disney.
is it really violent? Because sure, they're kicking. There's no blood.
No.
People are just flying through the air.
Right.
I mean, I get it. Yeah, you're like physically punching and kicking, but I don't know if I even consider it as violence. It's just like hokey, over the top choreography.
Yeah. But if you had a little slide whistle and a nut kick, then you get the PG rating. Despite being picked up by Disney, there was not much hope for the success of the movie, and at best, producers were hoping for a good VHS sales and rental market run. But it turned out to be a theatrical hit and became popular in 90s kids culture. Most of all, the studio got letters from kids' karate businesses around the country thanking them as their enrollment rates, on average, went up 10% after the movie's release.
Wow.
So
there you have it.
I wondered at that point if they were just like, yeah, we probably should have thought of that part of this.
Either way, they had no expectations.
True.
I mean, the roof was blown off.
That's
they
true.
had to have been thrilled.
They did, you know what?
And then they had sequels after
They're
this.
doing a public service.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for them. A fun fact, despite the fact that the three ninjas, Rocky, Colt, and Tum Tum, are the main protagonists in all four films, they never faced the main villain in any of them. In this film, and Three Ninjas Kick Back, Grandpa is the one who faces and defeats Snyder and Koga.
And I don't even think they're in the final movie with Hulk Hogan. I looked, and none of the original actors are in that.
And finally, in Three Ninjas High Noon at Mega Mountain, no one faces off against Medusa, but she is rather forced to surrender to the FBI.
Bullshit.
Here's where I round off our trivia and fun facts with a couple of gems.
Oh, good.
Are you familiar with Kim Jong-un?
Yes, I've heard of him.
Apparently, he was so enamored with not Three Ninjas, but Three Ninjas Kick Back that he commissioned a remake with Korean actors.
Come on.
Loved it.
Okay, that tells you all you need to know.
If a dictator loves it, why not you, Jim?
No, not just a dictator. If Kim Jong-un loves it, it's a horseshit movie. Yeah. And not even the original, the sequel.
Yeah.
The sequel, he's like, guys, this is speaking to me.
Yeah.
You know what? We should redo this. Yes. We could totally do this.
There's merit here. I tried doing a little digging, like, where are they all now, basically?
Yeah.
Where are the actors now?
They haven't really done anything,
They didn't really do anything, no. Michael Traynor was unable to return as Rocky because he had quit acting after the first movie. Chad Power was unable to reprise his role as Tum Tum because he was busy doing a TV movie at the time. So Colt was...
Lone brother.
Yeah, Colt. So Rocky and Tum Tum just did the first movie. Colt did the first and the second movie. And by the third movie...
They're all gone.
Yeah. Even the two who were in the second movie aren't even in the third movie.
Yeah, it's just a free-for-all.
Yeah. But I did find our good friend, Tum Tum, his Twitter account, which is no longer active, but I found some old posts of his. This after playing football for 4 years at California Lutheran University, where he reportedly majored in telling girls he played Tum Tum in Three Ninjas. No, really. I have the DVDs back in my dorm if you want proof. His most recent tweet, first of all, his Twitter account was at Yes, She Wants the D. Wow. His most recent tweet said, gas is $4 a gallon and girls still think we're coming over just to chill. I know, bro. What the fuck? So Tum Tum grew up to be a bit of a douchebag. Huh. Who would have thought?
Who would have guessed?
Who would have guessed? Of all of them?
Huh.
I mean, I thought I thought Rocky was the cocky one, the one who was dunking in basketball.
Solid. I found something for you.
Please.
Dead or alive?
All right, Snyder. His name is Rand Kingsley.
Dead.
What a name. He's alive. Oh. You want him to be dead. You want his greasy, slick back hair. No, it's still alive and well. I don't know if that's his actual hairdo. I'll look into that.
One can hope.
To be continued. I'll get back to you. Yeah. The dad, Sam Douglas, is his character's name. Alan McRae.
Well, we've got one alive, so I'm going to go one dead.
Alive.
Oh, no. It's all unraveling before me.
Rushmore, who is Tanaka, which, by the way, do you know what other movie he's been in?
No.
So the big goon that the boys face at the end with the blue tank top?
Yeah.
He's in Running Man.
Really? Oh.
He is the big big guy in Running Man.
Yep.
So he is versatile.
Yes.
Kids movies. He fights Arnold.
Adult fare.
I mean, he gets beat up in both.
Yeah.
But all right. He's still in both.
That's true.
So I knew, like, he's been in wrestling too. I just knew him as Tanaka.
Yeah.
I think I just knew instinctively, like, that's Tanaka.
Yeah.
So, okay. Tanaka, dead or alive?
I feel like wrestlers don't have a long shelf life, so I'm going to say dead.
Dead.
Yeah.
At 70 and 2000, Yeah, what are you going to do?
70, I feel like is old for a wrestler.
For a wrestler?
Yeah, for wrestlers.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I would have hoped for longer, but
Agreed.
he probably wouldn't have made it till
No.
2022 anyway,
No.
but okay. And then finally, Grandpa Victor Wong.
He's passed.
Yeah. Dead at 74. Fun fact, he died the day after 9/11. So
Wow.
September 12th, 2001.
Wow.
What a way to go.
Yeah. And he'll be known to the world as the eccentric looking Chinese actor. And nothing more, evidently.
Sequels, prequels, spin-offs, and such.
Three Ninjas 2, Kickback in 94,
Yep.
was shot later than 3, but released before 3. Interesting. The original title was Three Ninjas Go to Japan. Its rating is a 4.6 out of 10. Three Ninjas 3 Knuckle Up, shot before, came out after, a 4.4 out of 10. Three Ninjas 4 High Noon at Mega Mountain in 1998 with Hulk Hogan and Jim Varney, also known as Ernest. A 3 out of 10. The weakest one of the bunch. The first movie spawned a tie-in video game as well.
I saw that.
Yeah. So your thoughts? Rating? Is it appropriately rated? Let's bring it back to the top. Our numbers are 5.3 out of 10 on IMDb, 32% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't remember what Dennis the Menace was. There is not a shot in hell that this is close to that.
Well, and that's a sensitive subject for you because Dennis the Menace. I mean, that's your heart.
But there are funny lines.
Yeah.
There's a plot that makes sense.
Yeah.
Even if you're like, this isn't realistic.
Yeah.
This movie could not be more unrealistic and nonsensical. The soundtrack while they're fighting, it like I listed that as a least favorite character.
Yeah.
The soundtrack is upbeat nonsense during a fighting scene. It's just like, oh, well, there, whoa. This nothing makes sense. You're just like riding the wave of like, I guess we might do something else that just doesn't hold up in any sort of plot whatsoever.
Listen, if you're
go for it.
In for a penny, in for a pound. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna be silly and wacky, why ever try to make it make sense? Nutshell.
And to their point, they had 3 sequels.
Yep.
They had low expectations for good reason. As I mentioned earlier, kids are idiots. So they just were like, we're all in, guys.
Yeah.
And they went, I think we're onto something here.
And they were.
Fine. This movie is just a hot garbage dumpster fire.
Unless you were a kid in karate in the 90s, in which case, bread and butter.
Do you enjoy this movie?
Bread and butter. I did not enjoy this movie as an adult, but I'm saying in the 90s as a kid who was in karate, this was a softball.
I think I like the idea of it.
Yeah.
Like running around playing karate in the yard, fine. But the movie, I think even then I was just like, so
not believable.
Let's just create our own movie because this
evidently it could equally be as good and if not better.
Oh God. So no, I do not recommend this. It is maybe one of the worst kids movies I have ever seen in my life. Instant regret watching it.
Regret. And the irony being that now both your boys are locked and loaded ready to watch Three Ninjas at the drop of a hat.
It makes it so much worse.
I just have one word for you, Jim.
Thank you for listening. Please follow, rate, review, like, and subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. Follow us on social media. Tune in next week when we review another cinematic masterpiece from our childhood. Until then, hi-ya!